Hello again. It's still the 2nd of May, and I just made the yes/no spread video, and something happened this morning that I wanted to tell you, and so this video is called "What is a Tarot Reading?" and it's really what's actually happening when we do a tarot reading, because we can have ideas about what's going on and therefore what we should expect or what we can expect. And what if somebody says, will I pass the exam? And we say no, but they pass. Were we wrong? Was the tarot wrong? Somebody can ask about a relationship and you answer their question, but then something else happens that you didn't deal with because it wasn't the question, or it didn't come up. And so they think, well, the tarot is useless. It's not telling me what I need to know. So we can have doubts. We can wonder what's actually going on. And so something happened this morning that I'd like to tell you that will maybe give you some ideas about what to do, or why we do what we do, or what the tarot is. So what happened was this morning I watched a video on YouTube. I watch a lot of videos. And there was, and in the recommended section, it said the title was How I Became a Photographer, or maybe it's Why I Became a Photographer. And it was on the Louisiana channel, and they do art videos. So it was this fellow I'd never heard of. His name is Anton Corbijn, and he's Dutch. So I switch on, and there's this oldish fellow. I mean, I'm old, but anyway. So he's talking. He's giving he's got an exhibition somewhere. Turns out he's well known. He's a official photographer for U2 and Nirvana, and the Rolling Stones and Rolling Stone magazine and so on. So he ends up being quite an important photographer. So he's talking about how he was born. He lived. His father was a pastor in the Dutch Reformed Church, and he lived in this village or town. And you had to be formal, and you had to be well behaved all the time. But so there was one day he sort of felt a bit confined there, and he wasn't very good at languages. He said so. He would listen to songs. But he was captured by the mood and the atmosphere of the song, not by the words, because he didn't understand English, I suppose, at the time. And then one day he was listening to Joy Division, at which point I thought, well, this is interesting, because Joy Division became New Order. And if you watch some of my earlier videos, you know that the greatest song of all time is Ceremony by New Order. They're from Manchester. Okay, so he talked about Joy Division. Joy Division, they were the kind of early version of New Order. But then Ian Curtis, who was the main singer songwriter, he committed suicide. He was like 21 or 22. He was young, but he was kind of disturbed for whatever reason. So anyway, he's talking about New Order, and so Anton decided he had to go to England because that's where the music was made. So he moved to London, and a week later, he'd been in London for a week, and New Order, or Joy Division, were playing a concert, or not a concert, that's too grand a word for it. They were playing in a club. So he went to the club and watched them, and then after the show, he went backstage and said, I'm a photographer from a Dutch magazine, can I take some photographs? And they said yes, and they liked the photographs that he took, so they invited him to take some more. And he was living in Bayswater in England and in London at the time, and he didn't know London that well, so he arranged to meet the band at Lancaster Gate subway station. So they meet, because it was near where he lived. So they meet, and there's this photograph that he took where you've got the archway of the underground tunnel, and it's tiled, and you've got strip lights going down the middle, and you've got 3 of the band members walking away, and you see them from the back, and there's one band member a couple of paces behind the others, but he's facing the camera. and the band really liked it. But it's like the person facing the camera was Ian Curtis. So, and he was the one who wasn't part of the band. Was he part of he was part of the band, but he was also isolated, and he was looking a different way from the other band members. And it's a really interesting photograph and a really interesting concept, because Anton took the photograph, and what did he do in that moment? Did he in some way, I'm not saying that he created the division, but was some part of him aware of Ian's difficulties and captured him as a separate entity, as a separate being? Or was Ian's suicide inevitable? And in some way, Anton, by taking that particular photograph, did he in some way solidify what was maybe still just a possibility? So I watched this video and went upstairs, and my wife said to me, "What's going on?" And I said to her, "Yeah, that's a good question. What really is actually going on?" Because we look at the world and we think we know what's happening, and things make kind of a sense. And sometimes they don't make sense, but we come up with a reason for it. But it's sort of, I think that photograph that Anton took, it makes you wonder, well, it made me wonder, what actually is going on? Is it all preordained, and Anton taking the photograph was just making a record of something that was destined to happen, or preordained to happen? Or in that moment, what was, because Anton says that he doesn't really, not that he doesn't plan, but he doesn't set everything up beforehand. He sort of wants to be in the moment. And it makes me wonder about what is the moment actually. So anyway, I'll put a link in the description. You can watch the video. I would have shown you the photograph, but with copyright and YouTube, and who knows, I might the video might get taken down, or I might get blocked, or I might be banned from YouTube for using this photograph. So the photograph's in it's in the video. So watch the video and see what you think. So that's something, an idea or something to consider for when you're doing a tarot reading for somebody, and you're talking about the future or talking about them. To what extent are you making the thing happen? Or are you helping the questioner become more clear about what they want, or what to expect, or what's going to happen? So I'm leaving you with questions, but I think they're important to think about and to consider. And you come up with an answer, but it doesn't have to be the definitive answer for all time. You know, you can keep educating you. I'm saying that a lot recently, but you can keep educating yourself and know more, and then you can adapt what you already think and believe and know to incorporate a new idea and refine what you're already, and refine your current understanding so that it's more complete or more sophisticated. Maybe we'll go with sophistication for the word of the day. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back with something more normal, more tarot, obviously tarot related, next time in a day or so. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.